and thank you for joining us on Vermont Film Essentials. My name is David Metzger.
And I'm Lincoln L. Hayes. Once again, we have a guest with us this week. Is comedian, improviser, co-host of the What the Hell Are You Watching podcast, and birthday boy, Mr. Tim Bridge.
Yeah, I don't have a lot going on.
It's your birthday. You
Yeah.
got off of work.
No, I'm just...
Oh,
I'm insulting your show right off the bat.
Great.
Is what I'm doing.
thanks.
Shenanigans. We have no idea what we're in store for.
Oh,
We're going to try to
uh-oh.
get through this.
This was a mistake. I'm just kidding.
We are discussing these gentlemen's, one of their favorite films, if not their favorite film, and one of my favorites as well, the first blockbuster, Steven Spielberg's Jaws from 1975. I'm probably the latest to see this film. When was the first time you saw Jaws?
I saw it around the same time as Jurassic Park, and I was real into dinosaurs, so I saw that young. I was probably like 9 or 10 when I first saw Jaws. Yeah, that's me.
Was it terrifying for you as a 9 or 10-year-old?
There were some parts that were spooky, yes,
Yeah.
that were really, and it really holds up today. A lot of the horror elements of the
Yeah,
film.
absolutely.
But yeah, I think for the most part I was just fascinated by monsters, and so
Yeah.
I was scared of it, but it was also really cool. So
Yeah.
that was my first Jaws.
First experience.
Those were my first teeth, my baby Jaws.
For the longest time, I just didn't watch this because I had heard that it was just so scary. And when I finally saw it, I was like, yeah, that was great. That was excellent. And then even after that, for the longest time, I was like, I don't know if I'm in the right frame of mind to watch Jaws right now. So I kept making excuses. And then upon rewatching it, I was like, man, I need to watch this like monthly. I need to watch this on repeat with Jurassic Park and Back to the Future. And all of those movies just need to be in my go-to repertoire because this movie is one of the best. And I friggin' love it. I don't remember the first time I saw it, but I wasn't very old either. And it certainly imprinted on me then how great of a movie it is. And it needed to be watched a bunch. And then being a stubborn idiot that I was throughout most of college, I didn't. And now that I'm not as much of a stubborn idiot, I'm going to watch it a lot.
There's a lot worse stubborn idiot things you could do in college,
That's very true.
other than not see Jaws.
On repeat.
Such a stubborn idiot.
Oh.
I haven't been continually watching Jaws.
I'll just
What
go to
a
class.
dummy.
Who are you?
I can't say with any degree of accuracy when the first time I saw this was because I have an older brother and it was always around. I know at some point the terrible, terrible Jaws: The Revenge came out. Maybe it was around that time that I first saw it. But by age 10, it was like, this is my favorite movie. And pretty much for the same reason. Like, I just loved monster movies. And then Jurassic Park came out, saw that, obsessed with that, same thing. But yeah, it's like this, every time that I thought that, okay, this is the year that it's not going to be my favorite movie, or I'm going to watch it and it's going to lose some of its...
Something. Yeah.
Because all the movies from that time that we loved when we were kids tend to do that.
And you're like, oh wait, this is secretly racist.
Right.
Oh no, not this one though.
Pokemon, the first movie, wasn't the pinnacle of dramatic storytelling that I thought it was. We all have those moments.
Right.
These movies are comparable.
So, friend of the show, Nathan Hartswick, about 2 years ago now, they showed this at Main Street Landing. He made a mistake and told me that he'd never seen Jaws before, so I took it upon myself to take him to Main Street Landing to see it.
That's not a mistake.
Well,
Because you gifted
for
him.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was great seeing it through his eyes, and you know, he jumped at the scene when the guy's head comes out of the boat, and it's like, it still works.
Yeah.
It still works. And then, like, you know, the next day he's like, yeah, I saw the documentary last night on YouTube, and you know, it's how funny it was to see that the scene that scared me the most was shot in the editor's pool in their backyard. So
For
there's,
$3,000 of Spielberg's own money, because he was like, it's just not right.
yeah, there's one more scare we can get.
I'm missing something.
But yeah, it's definitely the first blockbuster, and for me, the one that as we get older and we see more and more blockbusters of today, it's like, you know, there's something missing, and I definitely feel it's the human element, because these characters are so fully developed and three-dimensional, and you care about them.
Yeah.
So that's what I think today is missing.
Well, but that, I mean, that's the interesting thing about Jaws then, is the discussion of is it in some ways responsible for the sort of, you know, low effort, you know, just summer blockbuster hits that we've been seeing, because this was the first movie that was like, okay, we're gonna have hit films in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first movie that had a semi-big bloated budget.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first movie to ever cross $100 million domestically.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So following this, we started getting a bevy of summer, you know, big budget hits.
Yep.
And so this started it, but it also made studios realize, oh, we got some money makers. We just need to. And so it has obviously become desaturated over the years and years and years, where the focus turns from writing to spectacle, and how do we create the next big spectacle?
And you can see it in a direct line from Jaws in the other creature features that followed it, with the piranhas, and even with the Jaws sequels. Right. You get to 3 and 4, and it's just like, you're not even trying now. You're just putting a shark in a movie and hoping people go see it. Yeah. And they did, but they also hated it.
And it's hard for me. Like, I always get angry when people say that, you know, Spielberg started the craze and started the blockbuster mentality, and it always makes me mad, because when he was making this, all the things you read about the making of this movie, when he was making it, it's just, I just want to finish it and get it. He had no intention of it making any money.
Yeah.
Obviously,
this is one of those movies, kind of like Star Wars, that despite itself is amazing. This movie should have just fallen apart and fizzled and died.
Frustrating, you know, it's one of those movies that was just historically so frustrating.
Yeah.
Because with the mechanics of building a giant shark, and the fact that a lot of this is on water, and he insisted on shooting in the ocean.
Yep.
So it had everything in line to be just Tank City.
Yeah. And no one had ever shot in the Atlantic Ocean before, which is just mind-boggling to me. It's like, really? Nobody had ever shot in the Atlantic Ocean.
It's easier to do it on a water stage, or
or even shoot just off the coast of California somewhere. But no one had ever done it in the Atlantic, and that was just mind-boggling to me. And then you hear the stories of like how many times the shark breaks down, and the delay of the movie was the shark itself. Like, they shot literally everything they could except for the shark stuff, and then they were sitting around just constantly waiting for the shark to work.
And even that becomes a blessing in disguise, because Spielberg is just like, all right, well, I'm just going to do it like what Hitchcock did. And
we got to shoot it as little as possible.
Right.
There was one shot, I was finishing it today, and there's one shot that's just a static shot of somewhat still water. And it's effective because it's like, there's no shark there, so you're okay. And I'm like, somebody literally pointed a camera at water, shot 3 seconds, and we're all right, moving on.
And John Williams was like, okay.
I'm just like, I'll write something for this. E-F. Done.
I'll win my Oscar. Yeah. Based on Peter Benchley's novel, which in and of itself was has its own, backstory of like going back and forth on the title, and they eventually landed on Jaws because they kept saying like Jaws of death, Jaws of this, Jaws of that, and they're like, really, the only word we can decide on is Jaws. All right, we'll call it Jaws. And it's also insane, because this movie obviously came out before any of us were born, that Jaws wasn't synonymous with sharks.
Yeah.
At the time, it was just like, what is that? What does that mean? Just like
a dentist?
Yeah. Is this a dentist movie? But now you can't have one without the other.
Oh, right. I just got an awful, awful remake idea.
Oh no.
Jaws, but it's just a dentist.
Yeah. He's coming in with the drill.
Have either of you ever read the novel?
No.
It's terrible.
Oh,
like really bad.
But it was like a bestseller.
I know, but I don't know if it's just because I know Jaws inside and out. So as I'm reading, I'm like, this isn't Jaws. But yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff about it.
There's like mafia and all this other weird stuff, and
kind of all over the place.
There's an affair between Hooper and Brody's wife, and it's weird.
Come on.
Yeah,
we could have used that. No.
I don't want to see Richard Dreyfuss and Lorraine Gary go at it.
No.
How dare you?
Why are you fetishizing Richard Dreyfuss?
Why are you not fetishizing Richard Dreyfuss? Have you seen that man's curl to glasses ratio?
It's like
something.
7 to 1, I think.
Ugh.
gorgeous.
Tim,
Gorgeous head of
do you
hair.
get any, like, the Massachusetts connection?
Yeah.
Is there something about that, too, that kind of pulled you in from the start? Because that's what I feel like. Like, I feel like I've seen Quint.
Well, like
on
this
the shores.
this is sort of, I mean, I'm not gonna call myself a Nantucket boy or a Martha's Vineyard lad or anything like that, but the connection is there. I know it's more historically because Jaws permeates culture so thoroughly that it's far more than just like a regional thing. But the fact that it is, Martha's Vineyard, and I have been there before, and it was like just off the coast of where I lived. It's more interesting talking to my grandparents about it because they used to go to Cape Cod a lot.
Yep.
And after Jaws came out, people were legitimately afraid to go in the water on Cape Cod. It did, the mayor was right. Tourism suffered.
Yeah, definitely.
Or tourism was booming because everyone was shopping.
Yeah,
Because they were afraid to go in the water.
exactly.
Because there's murderous shark beasts.
Yeah. I had a thought and I totally lost it.
Something about Massachusetts? I had a thought.
Yeah, it's gone.
I've never met a Quint, though, I will say.
Never.
No.
I don't
That's
know.
terrible. That would be terrifying.
Right?
I feel
Well,
like Quint is kind of a universal character because there are Vermonters like that, there are Coloradoans like
Oh,
that.
yeah. I mean, the old-timey, like, oh, I love to do the thing that I love to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a romantic idea, and in that sense, the character is not
I mean,
wholly original.
he is Ahab.
But that's
That's the whole idea.
I mean, that's what it is. It's, get my white whale.
Yeah. And it'll
Basically.
ultimately be your demise, and that's the crux of the story is you may get the whale, but the whale will get you too. And then in the end, it is.
Nature.
Yeah.
It's coming for you.
Oh, this is what I was going to say. You said that the movie hurt tourism in these coastal towns.
In some respects, yeah.
The movie also hurt sharks in general.
Yeah, people.
People are just murdering sharks because they're horrible man-eaters. And Benchley has said since that had he known actual behavior of sharks, because this was loosely based on an attack that happened in New Jersey. A swimmer was attacked by a shark, but he obviously fictionalized it and made it that much bigger that they're man-eaters and they're out to get you and all that. And it's not shark behavior at all. I mean, yes, if there's blood in the water, if they sense distress, they will do what predators do, but they're not just swimming around looking for people to eat. And because of this movie, the shark population worldwide has decreased considerably because people are just like, we gotta kill all the sharks. And we don't, guys. We don't need to kill all the sharks.
You'd think humanity's torch and pitchfork mentality would have been gone by the mid-15th century, but
Can
no.
we get over this?
Can we just stop killing things that are scary?
Honey, where you going? Oh, I saw this movie.
gotta
So I'm
go
gonna
kill
go
some sharks.
murder a bunch of animals in the ocean.
Can we talk about the screenplay? Because there's, we all have a respect for writing. And, to quote this film, this screenplay is really a perfect engine. It works. And
Sure.
it's worth kind of noting why it works or why we think it works so well.
There are no wasted beats in this entire story. It's both a brilliant screenplay but also excellent casting because the most iconic line of the film is improvised, and it's not in the script to the point where even the scriptwriter was like, "Yeah, that's a great line. I'm glad he put it in. You're gonna need a bigger boat," which Jaws and that line are together. You think of Jaws, you think of that line, but then you just have small moments in the film too, like when Quint destroys the radio on the boat. Yes, it seems like something a madman would do and it's crazy and he's like, no, it's just us out here, we have to be on our own. But then later when they're in trouble and the orca is sinking, they have no recourse because he already smashed the radio. They set it up so well in a couple scenes prior that you forget about it then, and then you're just like, oh no, the radio. And we have a Chekhov's gun moment with the air tank when he goes and he makes sure that it's secure, and then the camera lingers on it for a second. You're like, oh, that's going to be important in a minute. And just everything that is brought up, the Indianapolis speech, that all pays off. His hatred of life jackets and everything else. Everything has its purpose in this.
There's also that, and there's the structure of the screenplay works. So Spielberg knew that, okay, as long as I stick to that, I'm okay. But then he also went off and was, because he's shooting in Martha's Vineyard, there's so much local flavor. And he's looking around and he's like, oh my God, that guy looks awesome. Like, I'm gonna put him in there. And they talk the way that they talk.
Yeah.
And they're speaking all the colloquialisms that they do. And that has an effect. Like, you see that they're actually like real people. And then like the Indianapolis speech.
Yeah.
It's such a great, effective way to not only put you into the mind of Quint and why he is the way he is, but it's also, I think it's the most terrifying part of the film.
Yeah.
Just because it conjures up your imagination of what he went through.
They very easily could have cut away and shown that in a flashback.
Right.
But it's so much more effective not, because you also have that beautiful two-shot of him and Richard Dreyfuss, and Dreyfuss is just transfixed.
Yeah.
He says in the making of documentary, he's like, there are moments when you have to, like, you're acting and you're like, oh, I'm worked up about this. There was no acting on my part in that scene. I'm just transfixed listening to Robert talk, and I'm like, oh my God,
And it's
you
the
are
way-
amazing.
It's the way he delivers it, and also that Spielberg was like, he was friends with John Milius, who is such a good writer, and is, Apocalypse Now, and help me out.
I don't know.
Damn, lost it. I was gonna say Red Dawn, but I'm like, it's not that great of a movie. But whatever. He wrote Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
But he
Do you
always
need
has
another
that,
movie?
right? It's that. But no, that he goes to John Milius and says, "Write me this speech because I know you can nail it."
Yeah.
And it, the other thing about Spielberg that I love, specifically early Spielberg, because he doesn't do this very often now, is that the scene with the father and the son, and they're mimicking each other. Nothing about that scene tells you that it's a movie about a shark.
No.
Nothing about that scene tells you that it's a thriller or that it's a
one of my
horror
favorite
movie.
scenes in the movie.
And
because it's just so...
Also unscripted.
It's a human moment.
Yeah, it's the movie knows to make the people,
Yeah.
Right.
so that when the people are in danger,
We worry.
we're worried about the people.
Yeah.
And so few modern horror films, they want us to, it's almost like there's a paradigm shift where they want us to not give a hoot about the characters, so that when they kill them, we're like, yeah, they should have died.
Right. There's a big difference between
there's this weird double dynamic that happens in a lot of
between
horror
Jaws and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, where all of a sudden we don't care about the victims; they're just fodder. We're rooting for the bad guy for some reason. I don't think there's anybody that roots for the shark in this movie.
Yeah, I was not rooting for this. No, yeah, because they show that it's terrifying, and
Yeah.
then it's just people are victims to it. Yeah.
And it's such a disservice. Like, I had that thought the other day
kid.
of,
Yeah.
They don't mince. There's a kid,
And
there's
that's
a
surprising
child.
from
There's a child.
Spielberg too.
Right.
I mean, this is pre-E.T. and his family-centric films, but one of the first victims is a child, and
he
you
kills a
see
kid
it.
and he kills a dog.
Yeah, and you see it pretty graphically. It's,
Not the dog, because we would have
Yeah.
rioted,
oh yeah.
strangely.
What movie was it? Oh, it's
Seven Psychopaths.
Yeah.
There's the line: you can't kill the animals in the movie, just the women.
Because that's okay for some reason. And who's our first victim? A woman. She did a great job. Stunt lady. Very interesting to hear how they shot that too, because they had 300-pound cables or weights attached to her so they could pull her each and every way. And she said that they were the easiest thing to get out. If she were in trouble, she'd just pull a little string and pop and come off. Because she said very succinctly, how could they tell if I was in distress?
Right.
I'm acting like I'm in distress. But yeah, that's such a great way to start off the film too, and utilizing not seeing the shark.
Well, it's the perfect opening for the film.
Yeah.
It's just so, like so many films, you need to know what the threat is before. He takes, a lot of you mentioned it earlier, it's very Hitchcockian, this film. And he uses a lot of stuff. And Spielberg, at least early Spielberg, because he doesn't, it's like he doesn't care anymore. It's not important. In early Spielberg, he was so, Hitchcock influenced, and you
Yeah.
could tell it. Like the famous dolly zoom that happens in the film,
Yep.
the fact that he's not showing the monster to build suspense, the fact that he shows what the monster is capable of. He has focuses on object work a lot. It's really interesting, and it's very Hitchcockian. I love Hitchcock. Hitchcock is probably my favorite director of all time, and that's why I love this movie so much, is because it's using the elements of a good thriller and a good horror film, and it's just transposing that onto just big budget, creature feature.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. It's so cool, and they did it so well. Spielberg.
The other thing
Spielberg.
about Hitchcock is that this film and Rear Window. So they're both about completely real, horrific, terrifying things, but they're so much fun, and they're so funny.
Yeah.
And just like I'm always surprised, like with Rear Window, it's like you're having so much fun with Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly and Thelma Ritter, and you're on the edge of your seat, and you're having such a blast doing it. At no point do you think, oh, that wife was brutally murdered and cut up and buried in the garden. And at no point do you feel for her at all. And somehow he did that. And same thing with this. It's like, yes, there are victims, and yes, you are terrified of the shark, but then once you get onto the sea with the three of them, you're just
let's kill this thing!
Yeah.
It's like such a good time. And even the music changes from being...
Like it's a little fluty, it's a little horn influence as they're going out to sea. It's just like, oh yes,
Here we
boys,
go.
here we go out into the blue again, just like our forefathers.
There's a funny backstory where when Spielberg put this together and before he met with John Williams, he temped the score with like some really obscure Robert Altman film. And it's like all like mysterious, like really like esoteric music. And John Williams watches it and he's like, oh no, boy, this is a pirate movie. And he creates all this music, and Spielberg's like, yeah, that's better.
Yeah. I'll let you do the music, John. How about that? This was the first film that John Williams wrote an original score to as well. He had been he won his first Oscar for arranging and conducting Fiddler on the Roof, but he won his first original score and his first attempt at actually doing a score for this film, and well deserved, because probably the most iconic theme in film history,
And
next
three
to Star
notes.
Wars. Yeah. And that's his too. How about that? You had mentioned, we were talking about the screenwriting, and then we went on many tangents. Quint has the best speeches throughout the entire film. His first scene, I did have to mute the fingernails on the chalkboard. It gets me every single time.
Why do you have me on this show?
Because that's what
I'm
your
the
voice.
nails of the chalkboard of this television program.
It's true, and I'll mute you for the majority of it, I'm sure.
Oh no.
What a fantastic way to introduce a character. And not even like and now here's a new character, let him monologue. Just, this is who this guy is, and he's telling it like it is. And
It is pretty showy. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's not monologuing. It is, this is who this guy is, but this is who this guy is a character.
Yeah.
Is like quite the guy. The entrance is scratching on a chalkboard to like annoy the crap out of everybody.
Yeah.
And then just
You all know
long
me.
speech. You all know me.
You know my business.
Mean fish. Big fish. I'll get it. Couple
Head.
$100.
Tail, the whole damn thing.
The whole damn thing. Blue.
I think you ever said blue.
Blue. If you read letter, blue. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's just a guy.
Constantly
The
singing.
sea.
He's just
Yeah.
such a great character, and to hear that he and Richard Dreyfuss had such a difficult working relationship with each other.
It was perfect.
It's perfect, but it's also kind of
it's
disheartening,
perfect.
because you're like, oh, I really hope that you
Oh.
guys were like buddies out on the ship, like the three of you together, and this is so much fun. But they hated each other. They were
Good.
at each other's throats for most of the shoot.
But
Oh,
that shows up so much on screen.
It makes it feel so much more real.
Oh, yeah.
And authentic.
Their butting heads relationship is very clear. And then when we do have, the
Physical
battle scars,
altercation.
scene where they're showing stuff off, and then when they start to sing the song, and it's just that much more like rousing of like, all right, we're in this together and we're gonna do it.
It's very brotherhoody, this film.
Yeah.
It's very. It is in a way a story about men and manhood.
Yes.
In some sense, in the old ideals of it.
And you can see that in Brody's arc, where he starts off, being afraid of the water and really not liking Amity and missing New York and all that other stuff. And then in the end, he is the hero of the film,
Right.
and he has to, go from wearing all rubber and being terrified to literally standing on the mast and shooting at the shark point blank.
And it's so that
It's
that
so
is
little
so
clothes. There's
Yeah.
just clothes are torn and all that stuff. It's really like a shedding of the character.
Yeah,
in a lot of
stripped
ways.
down to the
and that
essence
arc
of it.
is so
Wow, you son of a.
perfectly visualized throughout the whole movie. Like he's always on, Brody is always shot on the left side of the screen, and he's always being pushed to a corner.
Mm-hmm.
He's always being beleaguered. There's a scene where, the most obvious one is when he gets on the boat to tell the kids to come in, and the mayor comes with his posse, and he is on the edge of the frame, and they're all just like crowded above him.
Yep.
And then when they're walking to the town meeting, they're walking down this small hallway, and everyone's talking at Brody and asking him questions and everything, and he's trying to dodge everything. And then there's a moment where he's walking, and there's a sign that's hanging down from a door, and he walks right into it and has to duck and get underneath it. So everything in this movie is
Everything
just
is
showing.
in his way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's also there's a very film geeky theory that I have about this movie. Like you said, like this movie is about what it is to be a man in
the traditional
today's
sense,
yeah.
Because you've got Quint, and he's definitely the old guard.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
the Hemingway version of what it means to be a man. Like, you've got to do it all yourself, and you've got to be tough, and we can't have a radio, we can't radio in for help, like we do it ourselves. And then there's Hooper, who is the intellectual, and he's using his brain. He's got smarts, and everything that he does is very calculated. And then Brody's somewhere in the middle. He's got to be this police officer, but he's also got to be the family man.
Yeah.
He's got to be the one that's sensible. And it can't just be an accident that at the end of the film he's got to use Hooper's tank and Quint's gun
Oh yeah.
to kill the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is the middle ground between the two of them.
Yeah.
Where Quint is the brash one, and the brash one ends up getting killed.
Yep.
Hooper is the sort of bit more sensitive, a bit more logical one, and he ends up just at the end of the movie being like, "Hey, so I'm alive, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm over here."
He survives by hiding.
I'm over here
now. Almost by cowardice, he survives.
So what it is it's either you die, you're a coward, or you kill the shark.
Right.
And
You
so
acclimate yourself and you take charge.
you find that meeting between the two. We're gonna think about this, but we're also gonna be strong. And so it's pretty. It's simple. It's not complex. There's not a lot in this film that is complex.
Right.
And in that sense, that's why it's still considered a blockbuster and like a summer sort of monster flick. But what pushes it above that is just how smart the approaches to the characters are, and in how it is executed, in how it's shot, and how you can draw those feelings out of people. How Spielberg was so good at that in his early films.
Yeah.
Was drawing an emotion out of you because of the characters and the extra normal situations that the characters are in. You see it in E.T., very family-oriented movie. You see Jurassic Park, we love those characters.
Yeah.
And then you see nowadays, you look at something like Jurassic World, it would be a similar thing in Jaws. Would be, what is the modern shark movie? What is something like Alien Covenant? That comes out, and Alien was basically Jaws in space.
Right.
And then you see something like now where it's a continuation of this idea, and it's just so lazy, and so you don't really care about.
They're
the stuff
not taking the
that's
time to pay attention to the characters in the way that they do in Jaws. We don't see the shark for how long in this movie?
so long.
I mean, the first attack happens, but then the rest of it is how does it affect the people? Whereas in the later Jaws movies and in modern day monster movies, it's all about
Sharknado.
the blood splatter. It's all about somebody
Yeah.
getting their face ripped off or something bursting out of their chest.
And that's one way to go. That's not necessarily a bad thing,
Right.
but it's just if
that's what you're
if
making.
that's what you're making. But with this, you get sort of some of that gore,
Right.
But it's not
But
exploited.
it's just enough.
like
Just enough to-
And you're like, ooh.
It's a wide shot of the water, and there's gurgling, and that gurgling is red. It's not like close-up shot of shark gnawing down and tearing. We see the tendons in the arm all individually tear
it
up.
flies off.
And it flies. Like, that's what it is now.
And so much so that this is a PG movie. And in order to get that, in the shot where the guy that goes out to try to help the boys, when he's attacked and his leg falls under the sea bottom, they had to cut that precisely enough, because if it was too long, it would be an R, because this is also pre-PG-13. So in order to get that, yes, we still have that image, and you go, oh God, it's a severed leg, but we have just the right amount of it. And if it were too much, it would be gratuitous, but with just enough to go, cut, and then we move on to something else.
There's 3 key scenes that, I mean, there's a lot of humanity throughout this whole film, but there's 3 key scenes. So there's the father-son mimicking that we already talked about, but then there's Alex Kittner's mother approaching Brody and slapping him.
Which she couldn't do a fake slap. She slapped him 17 times in the face, very, very hard.
Yeah.
She couldn't get a nap right, and they're just like,
I'm
all right,
sorry.
just slap me.
I'll just slap you.
And one of the times she knocked his glasses off. 'cause
She
hit him
still
so hard.
lives in Martha's Vineyard, and people go up to her and ask them to slap her. And she's now like she's been very friendly, but now she's like,
I'm not going to do that.
I've slapped my last person.
Yeah.
Right?
Similar,
But then
similar
you
story.
could just go all the way around and just get her pissed off enough that she'll slap you.
Come on.
No, I don't do that anymore. Go, come on, I don't do that anymore. That's all you're good for. Yes! No!
Similar story. She was, I forget where, I think out on Montauk or Long Island, and she went into like a deli, and they had the Alex Kittner sandwich. And she's like, what? That is so weird. Turns out the boy who played Alex Kittner in the movie was the owner of the sandwich shop, so he named it after his character.
So
and then he came out and he's like, oh my God, it's you! I played your son in that movie. And they reconnected for like the first time in almost
That
2
movie.
decades.
What movie?
That one that we were in,
one we were
remember?
in.
It was like a fish movie, I think. I forget.
Oh man, describing this as a fish movie really,
Right.
really
Isn't it? Anytime they talk about it as a fish, I'm always like, that seems minimalized.
Bad fish.
It's just a fish.
Bad fish.
But that's such a great that's such a great scene to accentuate Brody's guilt and set his course of the story. Like from now, now he's got an investment into why he's got to, other than the fact that he's the sheriff,
Right.
that he's got to do what he's got to do. And then, you up the ante, and the shark attacks his son.
Yeah.
And then so
This time
now
it's personal.
But then the other scene is the
Wasn't that the tagline of the second one?
Fourth one.
Fourth one. Okay.
that terrible movie.
So dumb.
That Michael Caine couldn't collect his Oscar because. But the other scene immediately after, when they have when Richard Dreyfuss goes to see Brody at the dinner table, and there's so many, like, it's so funny the way that they are, like, he's like, anyone eating this, and pulls the chicken, and that Brody
Such a
pulls
weird,
a fork.
weird thing to say. Anyone eating this, not
So
may I have some.
he's so rude. And then Brody pours the full glass of wine. But again, like they're real characters. They're reacting the way real people would. But also there's such a, like you said, a sense of brotherhood to it, where it's like, I know we just met, but I feel like we can work together and we can.
Right.
And that he's that much of a.
Hooper sees the
decent guy,
potential
too.
in Brody to be an ally
Right.
in this, more so than Quint, because he just thinks Quint is a loose cannon and is going to go out and get himself killed trying to kill this shark. Foreshadowing.
But that's what's so great about it in terms of how they're manifesting this, being a manhood sort of thing. Because you get movies like a John Wayne type movie, or like something like the Green Berets, where it's just manhood is dying, and manhood is not complaining, and manhood is manhood is that sort of puerile manhood is just like kind of punched in the throat in this movie, with the notion that No.
And you see that in the scene with all the fishermen going out trying to collect the bounty.
Yeah.
They all fail miserably. And just watching that, I think it was a deleted scene on the DV, watching the fishermen, like, all the chaos that they were doing. Like, none of those are stunt boat drivers. Those are all just fishermen out on their boats. And I'm just cringing going, you guys are going to kill each other. And not for the movie, just in life.
It felt almost Mad Maxian.
Yeah.
Just like the,
Here we go.
Here we go, boys, for valor and glory, to kill the shark.
Yeah.
Pouring the chum over. Nah.
I wouldn't want to eat that.
The scene.
We're having fun.
The scene, isn't it? Come on.
I'm having a blast.
What better way to spend your birthday?
Come on.
You're welcome.
The scene when they're all sitting around the boat and they're singing. One that was another scene that Spielberg added because
Which is so crazy. It's crazy that the more you read up on this movie, so much of this movie is just like, nah, screw it. Yeah, we'll have that. Let's
do
add that
it.
in there.
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it. Let's see if it works. Anyway, what was this movie before? Was it just like
15
there's a shark
pages
and
on napkins?
and then there's a guy and he says, oh, and then there's three guys and then they go hang out.
And then they put a thing in his mouth and they blow him up. The end. There's my paycheck. No, everything that's great about this movie is organic. It happened in the moment. It was something that the actors thought up on set, or something that Spielberg thought up the night before they
We
filmed
can't
it.
show the shark in this scene because it is broken. So we're gonna make
The shark
it
is
that
broken.
much more
The shark
terrifying.
is not working. The shark is not working.
The shark is broke. Help!
if I had a nickel for every time I heard Richard Dreyfuss to tell that story.
Every making of, every time he talks about Jaws, he tells that story.
And I know that Spielberg, like the day before he thought up of that scene and wanted to add that scene, he saw Rio Bravo, and there was a scene like that in Rio Bravo, and he's like, I know what we need to do. We need a scene where the men bond. And you think it's going to be like if you thought of a scene, I'm going to have a scene where they all sing.
They all sit around and sing a song together.
It's
You're
like, well, that's corny as hell.
this turned into a musical all of a
It's so
sudden?
good.
And the
Well,
great...
they inebriate,
yeah, they're a
They
little bit drunk.
make it like a
A shame.
inhibition, like a lowering
An
of the
Irish drinking
inhibition
song,
thing. It's
yeah.
just like, we're gonna hurry, toy.
But the other great thing about it from the production standpoint is that was also kind of the rallying point for the film and the crew. It says on the making of that, like he's looking around during that scene while they're all singing and having a great time, and like the script supervisor is tearing up, and this person is just watching with just so much awe, and they're all just like, okay, let's do this. It was how the movie came back together, and everybody was ready to do it again because they went so over time on this movie. It was supposed to be, I don't remember, like 65 days of filming, and it ended up being 7 months. Like, they really thought this movie would never get finished.
Doubled the budget of it. It was 4 and it went to 9.
Yeah.
Which crazy to think about.
$9 million to make this movie.
$9 million.
You couldn't come close now. I mean, they make indies for $9 million, and you're like, oh, wow. Ooh, wow.
This film almost looks like an indie now.
Yeah. And that's also some of the charm of it. It's like it's a 27-year-old director who has one previous feature out in the ocean just losing his mind. Like, is this even ever going to work? And this was, it was the beginning of his tradition of not being present for the filming of the final scene of his film. Because on this one specifically, I think he did it on Duel too, but he definitely did it on this one. He didn't want to be there because he was afraid that the crew was going to do something to him, like throw him off the set or throw him into the ocean or whatnot. But he was actually on a plane with Richard Dreyfuss back to LA, and he's like, hey, how'd that...
Richard throws him off the plane. Just like, we got you still. You tried to escape.
He asked
And
him...
Spielberg's been dead this whole time.
Yeah, he's animatronic.
No wonder his movies suck now.
Yeah. It's just-
Wait,
it seems
but Jurassic Park...
Lincoln
E.T.?
seems so by the numbers. Wait a minute. Not you, the movie.
I am by the numbers, though.
You are.
Yes.
And that number is 5 out of 5.
Hey!
Got him.
That's a podcast reference.
Plug.
Podcast.
Plug.
But yeah, he's on the plane with him, and he's like, oh, hey, how'd that final shot turn out? And he goes, he just actually started laughing. He's like, okay. And then he also says that he, to this day, is still trying to find a way to get him And then he's like, I know that you're not going to be there from the final shot, and I'm going to use that to my advantage someday. But the balls of a director to just be like, I'm not going to be there. And I mean, he's Spielberg now, so he can do whatever he wants. But I feel like if either of us did that, they'd be like, well, who's going to do this?
It would be so funny if the end of all of his movies, the last shot is just like so crappy looking.
Just terrible.
Just like so
Looks like Super 8.
camcorder. Just like
They forget to turn it off. It's just like, and we're good. Everybody good? Great. Credits. Bridge of Spice is so strange in the end.
The ending of this film. So the ending of the book is so anticlimactic, I can't even tell you. The shark is just swimming at Brody, and because, like 20 or 30 pages ago, he stabbed the shark in the brain with his spear.
Mm-hmm.
The shark is swimming at Brody, and then all of a sudden it just stops and dies and sinks. So Spielberg knows that he can't do that.
Let's just imagine that in the film.
It was
Dun, 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 dun.
It was so disheartening.
Then Brody just goes, well, how about that?
put that in your jaws and smoke it.
So
bad
he's talking
Quint
to
died.
Peter Benchley, and he says, okay, so at the end of the movie, he's gonna, one of the things that's gonna be in the boat, that when the boat is sinking, is the tank. So he's gonna put the tank, he's gonna throw the tank in the mouth of Jaws, and then he's gonna get up on the crow's nest and he's gonna shoot the tank, and the shark's gonna blow up. And Peter Benchley's like, that's ridiculous, like you can't, that's stupid. And then they're in the screening, and they're watching it, and the whole audience just in cheers.
Yeah.
And it is like it's still to this it
gets
sends
you.
you in charge like.
Oh, look at it go! Look at
You
him
got
go!
it!
He
Yeah.
exploded!
Exploded,
so
exactly. Not exploded,
Oh,
exploded.
he exploded!
And we talk about that like when we talked about Billy Wilder. He's like,
Yeah.
the last act's got to build, and then boom, that's it. And then
Literally.
don't hang around.
That's what his nickname was, Bildy Wilder.
Oh, you.
I'm ruining the show.
No, you're not. I love it.
I've been mugging the camera the whole time.
That's why
you
I
guys
can't.
are talking.
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
use
making faces.
this angle.
Oh. Hey.
Good thing we can cut between the three. You are very good at derailing the train of thought, though.
I'm pretty dope, but that
Um,
What were you saying?
I don't know.
Something about Bildy Wilder.
Billy Wilder building in the third act.
He just builds.
I agree.
Thanks, Lincoln.
Quint's death
Oh, it's
is
rough.
so rough.
It's rough.
You can see it 1,000 times, and every
Right.
time you're just like, oh man, oh.
I had a friend that would.
It's the way he screams.
Oh, yeah.
He is
Well,
actually
and
terrified.
Brody's
Awesome.
reaction to it.
Yeah.
That he's just like.
Yeah. What do? You can't save him. He gets his hand crushed by the air tank, which ultimately destroys the shark.
Right.
Then Brody can't grab him, and he's just kicking and fighting and kicking and fighting with this thing that he's been after for so long, and this thing that represents everything that he is. And then it just takes him down.
It's also great that he stays true to his character, and he is a badass to the end. Like
Yeah.
he is fighting, he's punching the shark even when
He's stabbing it with a machete, everything that he can, but it just doesn't work. Yeah.
And again, like
beeping
it's,
noise. The sound design is
So bubbly.
That's how you do it. And
again,
you
like,
blood
it's so
up to his face,
ridiculous
and it's a
that-
yell, and the blood comes out. Whew.
it's so ridiculous that a shark could leap out and crush the boat.
I
and
got
do
you.
this.
Here I am.
But
I
again,
mean,
it's
that's
just
probably
the way it
where
works.
they got the idea for Free Willy from that, probably. It's like, if a shark can jump on a boat, a whale can jump over a thing.
But
right?
whales, we've seen whales
I know. Whales do
breach before.
that.
A shark.
don't do that.
Some sharks breach. I've seen some nuts footage of sharks coming
out of
up
the
and just
water.
being like, "I'm a great white."
Yeah. They usually are
But they're
doing
not.
it because
But
they're
they're not
eating
like
seals or
they're
sea
not
lions.
like here I land.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm out of the water and down. They don't really navigate as they fly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so scary, though.
It's just not realistic. boo this movie.
Yeah, anybody who's like, oh, the shark, shut up.
You don't care as you're watching
It's
it.
fiction. And
You
yes,
don't
you're
care.
watching it now, and as soon as he comes out, you're like, yeah, it looks pretty fake. But at the same time, you're like, that looks really scary too.
Well, yeah, it's creepy. It's, I mean, the thing about it is that it's still scary. It looks fake, but you know what else looks fake? Sharks.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like a
They
shark,
are living
like a live shark
dinosaurs.
before? They're weird looking. They don't look, they're just leathery. They're just gobs of blubber.
Black eyes, so many teeth that they're literally falling out of their mouth, and they don't even know. Sharks don't even know what they are.
Sharks are idiots. I'm gonna say it. I'll say it. I don't care. Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Sharks, they're dumb.
Cut to 2 weeks
Dolphins.
from now. Tim's attacked by a shark in Lake Champlain.
My doorbell rings. It's a shark.
I heard what you said.
It's Left Shark.
It's a
from
shark
Katy
with
Perry.
a club. Just don't talk crap about sharks anymore.
He's got teeth and he's a shark, but he attacks you with a club. That makes perfect sense.
He drops a tooth, puts it on a necklace for me.
Little memento from our time together.
You're gonna look like a real douchebag.
Or you're gonna wear that shark tooth around all the time and be like, oh, the shark did it. Yeah. Now you're all praising sharks.
Now you can remember. Something to remember me by. Shark Slayer. And it turns out it was Will Smith the whole time.
Whoa!
In a shark tale. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
I try not to.
I don't think I ever saw it.
I saw it. It's
Clearly.
not good. The funniest thing is that they model the fish after the actors, so there's like a Martin Scorsese
Yeah.
puffer fish, which is pretty great.
Because Martin Scorsese needs to act in things.
I gotta act in this movie. I know I don't act much, but what I gotta do is I gotta be in that shark movie.
that was
The
a favorite
movie
of somebody.
where Jack Black wants to be a nice shark and Will Smith is a liar.
Yeah.
I'd say Jaws is a close second to A Shark's Tale. In terms of shark movies.
Oh.
It's a close second. It's right there.
You just
Doesn't
gave
have
us-
enough Missy Elliott fish cameos.
You just gave us the perfect Instagram video. Thank you very much.
That's all I'm good for.
Oh, Brody's last line to the shark. Smile, you son of a... PG-13, we cut off the bitch on the end there.
Smile, you son of a PG-13.
That's right. Just, that could be so corny. But
It
that's
is.
such a
It still
hero
is,
moment.
but
It's such a
it's-
great hero line, though.
Right, and one could argue that it started the whole craze about having that great final line at the end of your action film.
It could have been so much worse.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Just like,
Some
you're
terrible-
finished.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, I can't think of anything
You're
worse
tanking right now. You'll tank me later.
Oh, God. Oh, thank God you don't write blockbuster movies. Or rent blockbuster movies anymore, for that matter. Doesn't exist.
So, if I may,
You killed my friend. You killed my friend, and he was quintessential to my friend dynamic.
No!
We got it.
No!
We got it. Instagram video number 2.
It's gonna happen.
God damn. Sorry.
I'm ruining your show.
No, so we all agree. Let me get this in. So we all agree that the reason why Jaws works and modern blockbusters don't work is because for some reason we don't have human characters in blockbusters anymore.
So
Correct.
rarely we do, yes. Yeah.
Exception being Independence Day. It's the only one.
What?
Thank you.
What?
Welcome to Earth.
I just need to be sure you were being very sarcastic because that movie is
Yes.
a terrible character. Okay, cool.
Obviously.
My David! You don't talk to my David that way, Mr. President. Dumbest movie.
So why is it, if we all agree that that's the reason why Jaws is superior to all these films and that that's the element that these films are missing, why isn't anyone fucking listening. It feels like
Why should
blockbuster and independent films are
Because
separate now.
you're not going
Where
to
should
see a
they?
blockbuster to follow a coherent story and be like, oh,
kids.
well, that was a well-crafted bit of cinema.
Why
you're
sh-
going to eat popcorn.
You know, why
and
should
go,
they? Why should they?
"Ooh."
I mean, when it shows that spectacle, people are watching it for spectacle a lot more. And we can sit and we can say, oh, we love the characters, we love the characters. You talk to a normal, random person about Jaws, they're going to talk about the head scene, they're going to talk about the shark blowing up scene, they're going to talk about
The first
it's
time he pops
scary,
out of the water.
First time he pops out of the water, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And this, you know, people don't care. And that's not, I
There
don't
are
think that's
probably
necessarily
people
a bad
who fast
thing.
forward through the first 2 acts of this movie and just get to the boat stuff.
Shut up.
Probably.
No, they don't.
I refuse to accept
That's impossible.
I think that they have shown that they can make a boatload of money without doing that by hiring
There are
these
8
guys who write
Fast
the
and the
scripts.
Furious movies.
And how
The
many
first
writers?
one
I bet there's
tried.
like 6 writers on each of them too,
Yeah.
because it's just
First,
by committee.
first guy writes an outline, then somebody adds a piece in, and then, oh, here's a set piece and a set piece, and make sure there's some dialogue in
And
it.
it's not to say that none of them do, because
Yeah.
there are certainly ones that do. But you know, you also have to keep in mind that this was the first, so it's not, you know, people aren't really copying it anymore. You have to also keep in mind that this was still spectacle. Like a lot of the things that they were showing were spectacle. It was a summer blockbuster spectacle. And so when today we see Transformers 7, you know, coming out, and
Is it really 7?
I don't know, it's 4 or 5,
I
something
think
5.
I think it's 6.
I think it's 5.
Ugh.
There's 8 Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Bottom line is, and I think the Fast and the Furious movie does have some, you know, the shell of heart and character to it.
Thanks to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
But I think that you don't have to
No.
make good spectacle. Like James Cameron's Avatar is unbelievable to look at.
Yeah.
But but the story isn't, you know, and the characters aren't much to really care about. Although that's not the point really anymore, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I would like to see more of something like Jaws, but I don't think that it's like we have made Suicide Squad and that made $900 million at the box office.
Right.
So why should we spend more than 6 weeks on a script when that's, you know,
Yeah.
what you need to do?
That's the trouble. There's so much oversaturation with entertainment. I mean, when this came out, summer blockbusters weren't a thing. There weren't summer movies. You went to the movies in the winter because it was cold. You go to the theater, and that's when the Oscar bait movies happened, Christmas movies. In the summer, nobody went to the movies because they were outside. So this was trying to get people to go to the movies in the summertime, which was unheard of because air conditioning and all that other nonsense wasn't prevalent at the time. Now, you have to make, you know, another Transformers movie to get them into the theaters because you got to compete with that kids movie that's also in the theaters, but then you got to compete with that Alien movie and then that other thing and this other thing. So you have to put it out as much as you can and put as much spectacle and special effects into it. And then, yeah, there might be a story in there or two.
It's oversaturation.
Absolutely.
It's just that there's a lot of movies. There's probably one blockbuster per year that does really, really well in terms of crafting its characters and giving it heart and not just making it, you know, a CGI spectacle.
Yeah.
You know,
And the closest thing we have to that so far this year, in my opinion, is Wonder Woman
or Logan.
or Logan.
Yeah.
Is that this year? Man.
Did Arrival make money last year? Decent.
Pretty good. You know, it's not a franchise. It's not a franchise. It doesn't have a superhero in it, and it stars a woman. So
Yeah. They did the
why
best
would
they
I
could.
spend money on that, David?
My David.
My David, why would I spend money on that? I am a horrible Jewish stereotype in this movie.
I look like a schlemiel.
Oh, you did not just shoot that green shit at me. I'm a horrible black stereotype in this movie. Independence Day is terrible and people aren't talking about it.
Next week, VT,
I'm coming for you, Will Smith. I'm getting them.
I want to talk about
I've
the
mentioned
sequels.
3 Will Smith movies that I hate on this show today.
You did.
Independence. Oh my god. Independence Day, Suicide Squad, and A Shark's Tale.
Weird subplot.
What is happening? What is happening?
You want to talk about I Am Legend for a little bit?
That was okay, but really a missed opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
At the end, yes.
Sequels. This movie spawned 3 sequels.
I've seen none of them. I should.
I have not
note.
seen any of them
I have
either.
not seen any
I
of the
unfortunately have
Jaws.
seen all of them.
All of this is just from Wikipedia.
Any of them worth it?
Two
Because
is
Spielberg did
None of them.
None of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
two is passable only because Roy Scheider is in it,
Mm-hmm.
and you got the same locale and the same, essentially the same characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that they turn it into a teenage film because it's a bunch of teenagers out
Right.
on sailboats being attacked by.
Yeah.
Right.
There's another shark attack. Brody's concerned. The mayor is like, nope, can't happen twice. You know, the sequel trope. And then it ends up being his sons go out sailing, and then their boats are attacked by a shark, and then they end up capsizing, and then it's a rescue mission to save the boys. And the shark is defeated by biting an electrical cable underwater. And that's how it meets its
Is
demise.
that?
And he says, "Say ah."
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, not as good. Not as good.
Not to interrupt this thought, but
Shocking.
Spielberg's idea for the sequel, if he was forced to make a sequel, was going to be doing a USS Indianapolis.
What a
story.
sharking discovery. That's
Yeah.
better.
And it would have been a prequel.
I would have hated that. I don't wanna.
Because again,
The story of the Indiana. I
that
think-
wouldn't have worked because it's the same kind of thing that I faced with Alien Covenant and Star Wars prequels is I don't want to see that. I want to create that in my own mind. I want to create
They
the
made
image.
one, didn't
Patton
they?
Oswalt line.
Huh?
The Patton Oswalt.
I don't care where the things I love come from. I just love the things I love.
Yep.
Um,
Succinct.
well, they made an Indianapolis movie that came out last year. That was like direct-to-DVD Nicolas Cage movie. That
Oh,
was supposed
no.
to be terrible. And so that's a story that, like, historically speaking,
Sure.
oh
Yeah.
man, it's rife.
Yeah.
Rife for that. But I would hate to see like a I'm young Quint. I'm just a happy little boy. I am not grizzled at all.
My tooth is fine. I don't have mutton chops, and I'm in the Navy. Oh, we crashed.
I sing songs all the time. I don't even need to get drunk to do that.
I don't even drink yet.
I hope nothing changes, love.
Indianapolis.
This summer.
It would be Jaws. Yeah.
Colon.
Colon.
The
Yeah.
prequel. Then Jaws 3D is a tremendous departure. Stars Dennis Quaid as Michael Brody, the older son, who now works at SeaWorld. And SeaWorld has just unveiled that they have these new tunnels that lead out into the open ocean. So they're like, look, we can get the animals and it's all great. But then all of a sudden a shark gets in and starts eating stuff and people. So they're like,
It's
crap.
in the tunnel.
It gets in, they don't get the gate closed in time and a shark comes in. So he starts eating a bunch of stuff.
Let's see.
Then there's a,
So like the
In
seals
SeaWorld.
and like
Yeah.
oh.
and then people and stuff. And then the Quint proxy is like, oh, if you get him in here, I'll kill him. I'll do it on national television. It'll be great. So they capture the shark, and the leading lady, I think it's Leah Thompson. She's like, no, I can save the shark. We can, nurse it back to health. So they take it and they put it in a pen, and then it dies in the pen. But the shark's mother got in somehow through the tunnels too, and she's super pissed. So she kills a bunch of people.
She's bigger.
And how do they kill the shark? Oh, the Quint proxy is in her throat, dead, holding a grenade. And Dennis Quaid sees it, reaches in with
Gets
a
a
pole,
hook.
and pulls out the pin. Kaboom! And then, Tim, and then
It gets worse.
and then they celebrate with the dolphins that had saved them several times previously in the film.
That's amazing. Why do you dislike that?
And
Why
it was
do you
in
guys
3D.
dislike that?
It
Why
won a
are you
Razzie for
shitting
the
on
worst.
that?
Why would you?
It won a
that
Razzie
is-
for the worst effects.
Oh, that is fantastic.
And then
I need to see that. That's next
Jaws
on
the
my list.
Revenge.
I don't care about Jaws 2. I might not even see Jaws again. I just need Jaws 3D.
So Jaws the Revenge ignores Jaws 3.
What? How could you? How
I
dare
know.
you?
I know. Ellen Brody, Chief Brody dies of a heart attack. And Michael and his family come back for the funeral.
And where's Dennis Quaid?
No,
in
no,
this
Dennis
equation?
Quaid's not in it.
Sean dies at the beginning.
But Brody's already dead.
Right.
Brody's already dead. They're going to have a funeral.
Where's Dennis in this equation?
He's not in the equation. Sean is now chief of Amity Police. He goes out on the
Okay.
boat to do something. His
Michael-
boat is attacked by a
Michael
shark.
Caine?
No, Not yet.
Okay.
Let me tell a story,
I'm
Tim.
on bated breath on this. I'm so interested.
Baited? Sean's boat is attacked by a shark. Somehow they know that it's, or no. Then Ellen's like, oh, my family's cursed. The sharks are after us. Michael convinces her he does not work at SeaWorld. He's a marine biologist. Completely ignore everything in 3. They're like, why don't you come down to the Bahamas with us? We'll get away, blah, blah, blah. She's like, all right, fine. But
Maybe
she has,
he had his memory wiped.
she has a psychic link, she thinks, with this shark. Not kidding. They end up in the Bahamas, and when they're there, they see a shark, and they're like, "That's the shark from home." Because when he attacked Sean's boat, the boat exploded, and he got all scarred up. So a scarred up shark shows up, and they're like, "That's the same shark from Massachusetts. He followed us here. He wants revenge."
Move to Kansas.
Right? There's a stand-up comedian
What
who
are
has a
you
bit
doing?
who's like, "You're afraid of sharks, so you go to water? Why don't you just go to an apartment building?"
Oh, you're afraid of that shark? Come on down to. I live in, that island of trash that's forming in the Pacific.
Come hang out on it with us. She then meets Michael
You need to
Caine
take
and Mario
nice
Van Peebles.
vacation to
He's a pilot.
a scuba instruction factory.
To dabble.
A factory, actually.
Ellen
wouldn't be a
is
problem.
Michael. I don't remember.
Michael Caine.
Kills a bunch of people. Almost kills Michael Caine.
Don't do that.
Brings down his plane.
There's no need for destroying my plane.
Exactly.
Michael Caine.
Then Ellen is able to drive the ship into the shark. It like comes up out of the water. They have rigged some weird like explosive thing on it, so it gets electrocuted and then
Why
leaps out of the
doesn't
water.
she just use her psychic powers?
Exactly. The shark is, as it's electrocuted, keeps jumping out of the water. So when it does that, she rams it into the heart where there's an explosive device, and it blows up. And then
How
they
do
all
they
get
rig
away.
that on there?
I don't know.
How do they rig that on there?
Mario Van Peebles is on top of the cruise.
Amazing name.
Right.
It's an amazing name.
And he has to
Mario Van Peebles.
wait until the shark gets out of the water, and then he stabs it into its heart. And
Oh,
and then
perfect
it takes
Why
Mario
is the
Van
shark
Peebles down.
just? Because this is what I'm.
I hate
Why
that
does
I
the
know
shark
that.
keep going like just? Well, I should just keep jumping out of the water.
This is doing good stuff for me.
I'm in a tremendous amount of pain. I'll keep doing the thing that's putting me in that pain. What an idiot! I guess is what I'm trying to say, guys.
And then Michael Caine flies her back to Amity.
How?
In a new plane.
Yeah.
Because he survived.
I've constructed a plane out of this shark. I hope you don't mind.
Sharks have fins, planes have fins.
Here we go.
Was it
I've
size?
retroactively fitted this shark with wings. This shark is just a double.
He uses a double shark.
The shark is using a bloody double.
And there's a
I've got an
novelization.
explosive in his heart, the size of a tangerine.
The second film and the fourth film had novelizations written about them, and in the novelization of the fourth, there is an element of voodoo that's introduced, and that's why someone is upset with the Brodies, and they put a voodoo curse on them that sharks will attack them, and that's why the shark keeps.
Inland.
Go to
I
Western
don't understand.
Mass.
Just don't go in the water.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
But it's not, and you know that, so don't.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
This is very solvable. Also,
Jaws 4.
here's my one gripe with Jaws.
Original.
My one question.
Jaws Prime.
At least he's worried about the mayor's worried about tourism suffering.
Yes.
Because if they shut down the beaches, no one will come.
Right.
It's like day of. People have already made their travel plans.
Yeah.
You're still gonna make that money, baby.
Yeah.
What is and
Well, I
do you
mean,
know
he's
how
worried
many,
about
do you know
4th
the
of July.
percentage of people
But then he's got
who
2 more
do
months.
go in the water? It's kind of low. It's surprisingly low, I would wager.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people on that beach.
You're not losing nothing.
Yeah.
And the negative press from murdered children and dogs.
People are going to come. People love tragedy enough that they would still come to the beach. They would come as looky-loos, and they'd be like, well, it's actually kind of nice here. You want to go in the water? Don't! There's a shark.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on Jaws, guys?
Still my favorite film, despite that.
It's pretty good. I think that issue that I just brought up knocks it down to like a 2-star movie.
Below A Shark's Tale.
Below A Shark's Tale. If it didn't have that, I would say it's like on par with Shark's Tale.
God, I hate you.
But it's not Shark's Tale. At the end of the day,
Have either of you ever
we
seen...
can't all be Shark's Tale. You know how with
Can't all be Shark's Tale.
you know how with like Caddyshack and like Happy Gilmore, people are like, well, we can't make a comedy about golf again because like they've already perfected it.
Nailed it.
Like, why make the Shallows with Blake Lively or 47 Meters Down,
Right.
which came out this when they've already perfected shark movies with A Shark's Tale?
Have either of you seen Orca the Killer Whale?
Yes.
No.
It's Richard Harris, Jaws ripoff film.
You ever seen A Shark's Tale? It's like a improvement on Jaws.
We're moving past Shark's Tale
I'm.
to talk about Orca
I refuse to.
and how it's literally just a ripoff of Jaws. And there were so many after it, but that one we actually covered on the previous version of the podcast, and it's a big steaming pile. It's like Jaws 4, I imagine, because I've not seen it. Just
Orca, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Terrible. One of those
But
where you're
I
just
mean,
like...
Richard Harris is in it, and I mean, Richard Harris is great, but
Yeah. He couldn't save the
yeah,
movie either.
it's
It's like
pretty
Michael
bad.
Caine couldn't save Jaws 4.
Just like
Stop.
Robert De Niro saved A Shark's Tale by playing a shark.
I adore this movie. Now that I own it, I will watch it regularly and just continue to study it because it's a masterclass in directing. It's a masterclass in cinematography. It's a masterclass in guerrilla filmmaking. I mean, the fact that the cinematographer built a case to put the camera in to get those water level shots that Spielberg wanted is just a testament to the ingenuity and the creativity of people in the industry, and it just makes you that much more impressed at the things that were able to be done pre-digital.
And it's crazy to think that basically the whole third act is essentially a handheld film.
Yeah, because really the only movie that I would say is better at guerrilla filmmaking is Planet of the Apes.
The original.
Yeah, because of gorillas. So I'm just gonna.
All right.
There's some cashews over there.
Plugs, Tim.
Oh shit! Shoot. Every Thursday at Vermont Comedy Club, check out the Unmentionables, long form improv team. 9:00 p.m. generally is our starting time. Check out. I got nothing else, I think.
Nothing else?
Oh well, I have this podcast.
There
It's
it
called
is.
the What the Hell Are You Watching podcast, in which I am correct and my co-host is wrong about movies. And you're my co-host. Lincoln is the co-host of the What the Hell Are You Watching podcast, and it's a lot of fun. We just did a live episode. There's a great backlog. We're on Battleship Pretension Network.
David's
It's
been on
great.
twice.
David's been on a couple times.
It's good stuff.
It's a lot of fun, so check that out.
And follow his dog on Instagram.
Yeah, my dog is on Instagram at HotTiggityDog. As I said earlier, I'm great at Instagram.
Did you say you're doing stand-up soon?
I can't. I don't think I have a show that I could plug. But if you're around Burlington, check out the stand-up stuff.
Do it.
There's always great shows happening. I think I'm hosting at the monthly show at Havoc Mead next month. So
Follow him on the social media.
follow me on the social media. You'll figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun.
Thanks for coming on, Tim,
Yeah,
despite yourself.
this was great.
Thank you, Tim.
I
Happy
had this-
birthday.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun. Just wait for 2 seconds.
Cashews. They're so good.
He warned us he'd ruin it, and he did. So, thank you for watching Vermont Film Essentials. Watch Jaws, because it's the best. Until next time, I'm Lincoln Hayes.
I'm David Metzger.
And I'm Tim Branch. I'm not mic'd anymore.